They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President.
Oh, yeah, there it is. The deep state again. Folks, listen, you and I, all of us, we are miles ahead of the average Joe. Not saying we're better, not saying we're smarter, not saying anything of that sort. What I'm saying is we're miles ahead. Like, you could be in a wheelchair with a wooden fucking leg and the wind blowing in your face and blisters on your hands from wheeling your wheelchair. And if you've got a 2-day head start, you're still going to be ahead of anyone that can walk, jog, or run. You know what I'm saying? We're as handicapped as I am, we're ahead of everyone. For example, I have a relatively unique system for sending information out to people to try and keep them ahead of the game, awake, etc. And I had someone go, John, we don't have to worry about this and this and that. You know, we just need to get the deep state out of Washington. And my head, it cracked right down the fucking middle and exploded. I'm like, dude, everything I just fucking told you is the deep state. He almost talked like it was it's actually the Department of Deep State, like it's the DODS, like it's an actual. It's not. It's an invisible group of conspirators, right? And we're naming them. We're finding out who they are, what bureaucracies, what individuals, and how they're tied to foreign entities and these. Well, the Epstein list. I was talking about the Epstein list. He's like, we got to get rid of the deep state first. I'm like, that fucking is the deep state, man. Because we here, you guys come and watch and you share and you learn and you discuss. This is how we stay ahead of the curve. So let's keep doing it. Now, right out the gate. Well, Mr. Uman, moderator-in-chief, is in the building. Any questions, comments, thoughts, get them down to him. We're going to go back and forth. Tomorrow's, the Free-for-All Friday, and then Sunday is Sunday Night Live. And there's no holiday Monday. I don't plan on getting poisoned or anything this weekend. So Sunday Night Live Sunday. But right now, get your questions down to Uman. You'll get the second half of the show. My opening topic is Hillary attacking Christians with her fat fucking mouth. Hillary, Israelis, and American Zionist authors, writers, and bullshitters in social media. They're attacking not just America, but Christians specifically. And I think that's important. I'm going to go through this, but what's important is Hillary she is pointing at Christian Americans, Christian nationalists, as a threat to her, a threat to national security. And by naming those issues, it's a threat to Israel, and it's a threat to Zionism. And that's why they're all attacking us. I don't know if you've noted. I've definitely noted. But Hillary, in one of her speeches, Christian nationalists, Christian Americans, if you will. America first Christians. How's that? Right? All I hear, though, coming from Hillary and the media and even the Trump administration in several places, is anti-Semitism. If you don't like wars that Israel wants to have, you're an anti-Semite. If you don't like the genocidal murder of 500,000 women and children in Gaza, you're an anti-Semite. If you oppose giving your tax dollars to Israel, and by extension, you're disgusted with Israelis getting free medical care, free college, free or subsidized housing, subsidized everything, because the U.S. government, our government, sends billions and billions and billions of dollars every year to Israelis, while American veterans, regular Americans, tax-paying Americans, and American homeless people in this country, we get taxed, we get ignored, and we get left to die, right? The homeless are mentally ill, and they're just left to die. Fuck it. If you object to giving money to Israel while America falls apart, you're an anti-Semite. And you're probably an American Christian nationalist, right? Understand, folks, me and you, all of us, and I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're Hispanic, I don't care if you're Asian or a Native American, I don't give a fuck. If you love America, the United States of America, and you think America should come first before we worry about all the other problems in the world, then you're an anti-Semite and you're a nationalist. Now, understand the connection in verbiage here. It's always their fucking word games, right? The Nazis were the the Nationalist Social Workers Party, right? Again, the word nationalist is the N in Nazi. They want you to hate Nazis and apply that term to saying American nationalists, Christian nationalists. So why Christians? Why put that in there? Apart from the fact that Zionist, Talmudic Israelis think Jesus is burning in hell while submerged in a pot of shit and semen. They hate Christians. They spit on Christians over in Jerusalem. Did you know that? Over in Israel, that's a national pastime, spitting on Christians, hitting Christian women, pushing Christian children. Oh, yeah. They are no friend of American Christians. They're no friend of any other Christians. They're going to lie and tell you that you need to support Judeo-Christian belief systems, which is Zionism, which means they are above us and we are subhuman to them. They're God's chosen and we're not. The reason this is important, folks, is because it's not just Israel doing it. It's how Israel controls American politicians, American socialism or social media, and socialist thought. They are the National Socialists. They are the communists. But they want to paint us as Christian nationalists, as if we're Nazis. The reason they really hate Christians isn't just because they hate Christ. Because they hate the fact that Christians represent a military threat to them. We represent an armed military obstruction to them taking over America. Because we were founded as a deist nation, a nation that believes in Christ. They won't tell you which church you have to go to. The government can't do that. But we were a deist country that has followed Christian principles. That's what the Constitution is founded on, right? That you have a right to everything. It doesn't say in here, right? Israelis have the right to freedom of speech, and Israelis have the right to self-defense, and Israelis have the right to resist, unlawful searches and seizures. Blah 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 blah. No, that's everybody. It doesn't make special cases for Israelis. But they control the government now. And they want Christian men, especially white Christian men, but all Christians, period, are a problem. They're a threat. And we are a national security risk. And remember, Christians include every race, every gender, every age, every wealth group that opposes Hillary. And if you oppose Hillary, you're opposing Israel. If you oppose Trump, you're opposing Israel. It is unfucking believable what's going on. Now, speaking of war, conflict, and opposition, and by the way, I am not a Nazi. I never have been a skinhead or a white supremacist. I have no tattoos on me, much less tattoos of swastikas. Right? But they want you to believe that if you stand in front of this American flag, you are a Christian nationalist, the equivalent of a white supremacist Nazi. That's what they want us painted as. So, war. Ukraine. We're now on the second, day 2 of the trilateral talks. Well, who does that include? It includes Ukraine, Russia. Those are the 2 conflicted nations, and the United States of America. But these talks are breaking down. And they're being held in Geneva, Switzerland. And the media is blaming Russian demands. And there are divisions in the Ukrainian side as well, because they have a problem that Washington is trying to make them, hey, you're losing the fucking war. You've lost the war, Kiev. You don't get to decide the fucking terms of surrender. But they're trying to frame it as Russia's being unreasonable. Unbelievable. Well, anyways, the talks are breaking down. I wonder why. Because the whole world has held up a homosexual midget in Ukraine as some kind of a leader. His claim to fame, apart from being a raging homosexual butt pirate and a belly dancing, entertaining singer, he plays the piano with his little dick. Okay, that is the leader of Ukraine. And people want to complain about me or you or anyone else not being legitimate to discuss the topics that we have before us. Well, we can't take that John guy seriously. But we're supposed to take Zelensky seriously. Anyways, look, the peace negotiators for the United States is two gentlemen. One named Steve Witkoff. The other is Jared Kushner. What? Wait, what? What the fuck is going on? Trump's son-in-law, an Israeli first asshat, Jared Kushner, is negotiating cessation of hostilities between Russia and Ukraine. Really? Who the fuck is Jared Kushner, and why should Russia take him at his word? Why should Russia take him seriously? Or Zelensky? Why should Russia take Zelensky at his word? All he's done is lie and backtrack and try screwing America over. Now, to me, as far as I'm concerned, any demand Russia makes is legitimate because the U.S., the United States of America, and NATO reneged on their treaty promises with Russia after communism failed about 30 years ago. Why should Russia ask for less? Why should Russia settle for less after having those terms, the peace treaty terms, violated and to be threatened by NATO? Jared Kushner is going to make it all go away. Jared Kushner, right, an Israeli citizen married to Trump's daughter, is going to represent the United States in these negotiations and be taken seriously? Seriously? The pussy couldn't lift a bag full of fucking groceries. Have you seen this guy? He's a stooge of Israel and a genocide supporter. It's fucking ridiculous that this guy is trying to and part of the peace process. Are they trying to set him up to be a fucking president next? Because, you know, the Trumps, they've got a dynasty they're building, right? And the mainstream media says nothing, zilch, nothing about all of this nepotistic U.S.-Israeli horse shit. The media doesn't bring up Kushner, who he is, and what the fuck. He was also in Israel at that peace negotiation, talking about how they're going to develop Gaza as a resort city. It's like you guys just bombed it to the fucking ground, and you're talking about developing it to make money off of it. And everyone in Israel is going to get a free house, I'm sure. And I'm sure everyone in America is going to fund it, right? Because we love to give billions and billions and billions of dollars to Israel. We need to force this fucking government in Washington, D.C. to do our bidding. We know voting doesn't work. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, right? Does voting work? I haven't seen it work. All I've been given is two candidates to choose from, a Republican or a Democrat. Choose a Republican, choose a Democrat. Those are your choices. You're like, oh, I want to go for the guy that says less taxes instead of the guy that says more taxes. How about no taxes? Where's the no tax guys? Right? They don't exist. The whole idea starting 8 years ago was Americans like me and you, Americans like Kaz or Uman, Americans like any of us, get on a local political board and bring in all the candidates. And don't just pick the most qualified one, which usually means who does AIPAC want? Who does the National Republican Party want? who has the most money because they're already a rich, sellout, corrupt piece of shit, right? And we failed. We've absolutely failed. Right now, someone I know is involved in local politics who says that AIPAC and their candidate is the one who's being shoved up front by the local election board as the candidate to run. Well, you have to have a winning candidate. You have to have a candidate who's going to win. Well, I tell you what, take a look in Florida. James Fishback is not Byron Donalds, a sellout who takes money from foreign entities. And then the other guy, the vice governor or lieutenant governor, he appears to be very suspect, not trustworthy. But Fishback is actually talking about being a real candidate for the state. And they're trying to exclude him, kick him off of X. They're trying to do everything they can to stop us. But we need to do that, right? Voters need to force the government our way. Well, when I say voters, how about American citizens, American nationalists? We need to force the government. In Kansas City, they've done just that. They have spoken so strongly about getting men out of women's bathrooms, defining sex, defining gender. The Assembly and the Senate in Kansas enacted a law. They passed a law to ban men from women's restrooms, to define gender at birth. You got a dick or do you have a vagina, right? And they want to mandate accurate male and female identification to knock all this bullshit off. Very simple, right? Man and woman, that's the law. Well, Governor Laura Kelly vetoed it. Well, the voters, the citizens, the nationalists in Kansas screamed and yelled, and the Assembly, meaning the Congress, and the Senate had enough power and enough votes. They were forced, and they voted and overrode the veto. Voting, folks, once every 2 years or once every 4 years is not enough. We have to scream, we have to yell, we have to demand that these fuckers do their jobs. Also, in Kansas and other places, now we need to expect more violence and mass murders from nutjob LGBT pedophiles over them passing this law saying boys have penises, girls have vaginas. It's defined at birth and you don't get to change it. And men don't get to walk into restrooms and rape women anymore. And if a man wants to stop another man from entering the woman's restroom, he has the authority to do it. That guy got arrested this week. A man walked his daughter to the woman's restroom, right? She opened the door, went in. The guy stood outside and said, I'm not letting any transgenders in while my daughter's going to the bathroom. And the police showed up and arrested him. Unfucking believable, folks. Unbelievable. Well, we've had some Obamacare fraud exposed. How about that? How long have we had Obamacare? Oh, yeah, for fucking ever now. Right? 15 years of that shit. 2 executives, that means big shot money guys, have been sentenced to 20 years for their scam, their Obamacare scam. How much do you think they stole? A couple million? $233 million. They used taxpayer-funded Obamacare to buy an 80-foot yacht, luxury cars, oceanfront mansions in the Florida Keys. Gee whiz, right? Billions have been stolen. Trillions have been wasted, right? Exposed in Washington, D.C. fraud. And we see 0 arrests of those executives, those bankers, those Israelis, right? Yeah. And they can do what? Yeah, not only can they steal all the money, but you can rape, murder, drain the blood of, and then eat children. 0 fucking arrests. Washington, D.C. is lost. I'm not a quitter, but I don't see the solution as voting. Yes, we need to scream and yell. We need to fight every step of the way until we're done fighting. Right? Because if we just stopped, if we just said, you know what, you motherfuckers, you own DC. You can just screw the hell out of all of us and steal our money, and there's not a fucking thing we can do about it, and just shut up and I'm done. If I were to do that, they think, see, no one's objecting. No one's objecting. Let's just steal more. Let's tax more. Let's rape more. Let's kidnap children more. If we fight, we can at least hold ground where it's at while we get through this, right? But I think it's going to take violence. I do. And I'm not calling for violence. I'm not calling for it, but I just expect it to happen. Now, in Minnesota, the daycare fraud there, they've actually been arresting the bad guys. I thought very few had been arrested. I kind of stand corrected. Now the 79th suspect for fraud has been arrested while attempting to flee the United States of America, not to go back to Somalia, but to go to England, the United Kingdom. Their center received millions, folks, millions and millions of dollars in taxpayer funds under Tampon Timmy Walz's administration. Now, the Somalis, it was so patently obvious when we heard about the Leering Center. And we saw a video of the Leering Center and all kinds of daycares that have no children going in and out, no children in the parking lot, no children in a playground. There were no playgrounds. There were no parents coming and going. It was just a room, a door in a room with the sign. Tim Walz's bureaucrats that run these programs, that authorize the billions of dollars in payments, they're not being arrested. How come government officials that have facilitated and allowed this to happen, how come they're not being arrested? Because government cannot be held accountable. They can't. They can't. Government can't be held accountable. In fact, by the way, CPS, Child Protective Services, owns your kids. You have no rights. You have comments, and I want to see them, read them, and hear them. Comments down below. Let's get them in. But you have no rights with your children. In fact, someone goes by the title of America's Mom and has a social media news presence. She has raised a free speech and parental rights concern because in Colorado, court proceedings have basically taken people's kids from them over transgenderism. Now here's a quote. To have your child taken by total strangers because you are a Christian, here we go again, the Christian thing. You are a Christian and will not agree to the transgendering of your child is hard enough. To be told by the court you cannot talk about it publicly is an outrage and unconstitutional. Yep, the courts are taking children and then telling parents, you can't talk about it. You can't talk about it to friends. You can't talk about it to media. You can't talk about it in social media. You can't print anything. No, you're gagged. Folks, in my opinion, we're getting to the end of what good people are capable of tolerating. Are you ready? At the local courtroom, the judge can say, fuck you, we're taking your kids, shut the fuck up, or we'll put you in prison. Sounds like tyranny. At the state level, you try and pass a rule or a law, you get attacked as a Christian nationalist, you get called a white supremacist or an Uncle Tom. They attack you with the media. They threaten you at home. You get violent attacks, drive-by shootings at your house. You see what this is called terrorism. But it is pseudo-government terrorism because government is allowing the terrorists. Let's name them. Antifa, BLM, LGBTQ pedophiles, Muslims, and of course the super secret media Zionists will terrorize and threaten you. Yes, even the Zionists. Zionist Israelis will text you, email you, knock on your door, send you messages, and threaten you. Will ruin your life, will ruin your job, will ruin your house, will ruin your marriage, will embarrass you, will get your kids out of school, whatever the fuck they want to threaten people with. I've read all kinds of crazy threats. Unbelievable, folks. Are you ready? Right? Are you ready? We're trying to fix our country. And we have kids now. And we warned yesterday, did we not? I know I did. The video footage today released, not from, where was this? It was Florida. Florida dad was like, you know what? Fucking kids almost got run over. Today, video footage released, not of Florida, but another school, North Carolina, a high school. Video footage revealed a reckless and unsupervised gaggle of students just running across a busy 4-lane highway so they could go protest ICE. No teachers in sight, no supervision, right? Again, government out of control and authorizing and allowing. This is terrorism. Children are being indoctrinated and used as terrorists, just flooding across a 4-lane highway, right? They've endangered themselves. They've endangered motorists, and the school allowed it. And this is going to get worse. It's going to get out of hand. We've already had students getting arrested, students attacking civilians, students attacking police and getting arrested. And I believe that the governors in each state should have their attorney generals arrest the principals of these schools. After all, they're the principal, meaning the school's number one, the school's primary responsible party for that school is the principal. Like if you own a business as a sole proprietor, you're the principal who's responsible for collecting taxes, for paying taxes, for everything, right? You're the principal. These principals need to be fucking arrested because they are putting people at risk. Literally. So ICE, they want to protest ICE? Well, ICE has gone on social media and they're now showing collages, meaning pictures, just dozens of people, right? Dead Americans. And this is what ICE's report was. Quote, "This is who we fight for." This is a powerful reminder, folks, that thousands of American families are destroyed because of the crimes committed by illegal aliens. Robbery, kidnapping, rape, murder. And all of these Democrats and all of these school kids and all of these groups, these terror groups, Antifa, BLM, LGB pedophiles, right? The pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian terrorist types. And also, the, shall we say, the closet terrorists who fund them with money. Oh, yeah. This shit doesn't happen for free. This doesn't happen for free. There's signs already printed. Right? There's paraphernalia. There's water. There's bricks. Everything is organized and associated and paid for. And then the protesters are paid for. Who do you think has the money to do that? Americans? Americans don't have the money to fucking pay protesters. It's paid for by people who hate America. It's paid for by people who hate Christians and morality and decency and law and order. Who have I described today that meets that? Zionist Israelis who want to destroy America. They write articles, they print books, they print publications, they print online about how white needs to go away, how white isn't a culture, how white as a race needs to be erased, how white people need to be killed, terminated, wiped from existence. There is no white culture. There are no white traditions. There is no white tribalism. Everyone else can be proud. You can be a proud Asian or a proud black or a proud Mexican, a proud Hispanic, a proud Cuban. You can be a proud anything. You can be a proud Japanese or a proud Asian, Chinese, Vietnam, whatever. But you can't be proud to be white. Right? Japan's a country, but Asian is a phenotype, right? And a South African is a nation, but a black person. I'm proud to be black. You're fine with that. But proud to be white is the same as proud to be black or proud to be brown or proud to be Asian. But we're not allowed it. It's because they want us gone, right? They want us gone. And that's why they're opposed to ICE. They want us gone, and they want all of us replaced with people who hate Christianity, hate the Constitution, and are willing to accept, right, what's going on. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to back off. I'm going to let you guys take over the show, and let's see what we're going to talk about. All righty, Mr. Uman, there's a lot more news, but I want to see what's out there in the crowd. Let's do it. Let's get into it. And it's Chin Music checking. And he says, John, if you could stop noticing, that'd be great. Well, you know what I'm noticing is the attack on America isn't a single attack. It's not a single point. It's not a single problem that we're facing. We're facing an invasion of anti-Americans. We're facing and dealing with a government at the local, state, and federal level, all those levels. Government taking our money by force. They point a gun at you. You don't give them the money. They'll put a gun at you and arrest you. They'll take your house. They'll take your car. They'll destroy everything. So you're forced. It is force. They force you to voluntarily pay them money. And then the local, the state, and the federal government send our money overseas. They give it to foreign countries. They waste it. They throw it away. They fund wars. They give money to their business friends. I'm sure the United States of America is going to pay for the rebuilding of Gaza, but we won't have any claim to it. We'll get no benefit to it. We'll have no ownership in it. Not that I want any of those things, but all that would just go to Israel. It's just, we're paying for the Ukraine war. What is it? What are we up to now? $300 billion in cash and equipment. Equipment is paid for with cash. I've noticed that. I've noticed who hates us. That's right. Who hates America? The Muslims. Who hates America? The Zionist Israelis. They have fucking told us so. They hate white people. They hate Christians. They hate Christian nationalists. They tell us we're supposed to worship them as Jews. Are you out of your fucking minds? I'm not less than you guys. That's preposterous. Literally, they believe God blessed them. The same people that have been kicked out of every country known to man, over 108 countries over the last 1,000 years, thousands of times they've been kicked out of countries, but they're blessed. Even in the Old Testament, it's recorded that you guys are assholes, you're idolaters, you worship false idols, you commit all kinds of fornication, sin, and filth, homosexuality, aka Sodom and Gomorrah, but you've been blessed, and you're better than the rest of us. Okay, yeah, I notice. I'm noticing that. I'm noticing these other foreigners coming here. I'm noticing our money being stolen. I'm noticing the government not prosecuting. Oh, yeah. The Epstein accomplices, people who have gone to and paid money to hunt human beings, to rape them, to terrorize them and drink their blood and then eat their flesh. Literally, this is all in what has been released so far, and we still have over half of it to go. And we have to decode all of it. There is a picture that came out, and it almost made me start crying. I'm going to describe the picture. The genitals of the man and the face of the little underage girl who couldn't have been more than 6 years old. Her face was covered, blacked out. It was a naked man standing there with his dick in the little girl's face. But we don't know who these people are. There's no crime committed. It's a fucking hoax, right? Finally, we have one arrest, folks. Actually, we're up to 2 arrests. 2 arrests. The former Norwegian prime minister was arrested in Norway, and now Prince Andrew, the disgraced and well-known and understood pedophile and former Prince Andrew of England, King Charles's little brother. He has been arrested over his involvement in the Epstein scandal. I'm sure the Andrew apple fell off the same rotten tree as all the other royals, as well as their pedophile friends, who the crown, meaning the royalty in England, allows to run free, getting away with sodomizing boys and girls and more. They're all evil folks. They're all satanic. They're all scum. And I can't help but notice, Chin Music, I can't. When they come down to your town, when they come down your street, when they come knock on your door and demand you submit to them, that you pay them taxes, that you allow them to take our children away, will you comply? Do you need to wait till they're at your door asking for your daughters and your wives and your bank accounts? Do you need to ask them? Do you need them to be there? Do you need to wait till they're just on your street, in your town? Or can we see and notice who they are right now and tell them the rules we live by is this, the Constitution. We don't owe you guys shit. We don't have to obey you guys, period. It's coming, folks. Ooman asks, what are the odds Prince Andrew faces any actual consequences? Unfortunately, it'll probably fall out of the 72-hour news cycle, and everyone will have forgotten about it by next Friday. I cannot argue with that. Now, in the United States of America, we have this thing called presidential pardon. The president of the United States can look at any criminal and pardon them. Sign a pardon and they're out of jail. Get out of jail free. You think the King of England doesn't have that authority that he's granted himself? Number one, yeah, the media will quit covering it. Social media will cover it. People like you and me will cover it, especially in England. But mainstream media, meh. Newspapers, tabloids, eh. The government, they ain't going to talk shit. In fact, they just voted over there to do nothing again. England is even worse than our country. England, Canada, they're worse than us, but we're not far behind. Like I said, I'm going to ask you this question again. Are you going to wait for them to knock on your door before you get mad and tell them no when they demand your money and your daughters? Or are you going to get mad when you start hearing about them coming down your street? Coming down to our town? When do you stand up to the evil scumbags? Just a question. I can't tell you guys to be violent. I won't. I'm just telling you, we're all losing our fucking patience. Hoosier says, I've thought about this. Ooh, this will be good. Useful idiots on both sides, meaning Republicans and Democrats. They're great. They're useful idiots. They're placeholders. They hold positions of authority, and so we're supposed to believe that they'll handle it, right? Useful idiots on both sides. We could be used to do the dirty work against the left, only to be ruled by a more authoritarian government who becomes the new leaders. Let me ask you this question. So the government wants to piss all of us off because they want us out here in the public fighting each other. They want Republicans fighting Democrats. They want the rich and the poor to be in conflict. They want whites, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, and Native Americans all fighting each other over the color of our skin or even our politics. They want us distracted so we don't look at where the problem is, which is in government. And when I say government, I'm not just pointing up at Washington, D.C. I'm talking about our local government. A lot of local governments are nonpartisan. You don't vote Republican or Democrat. You're like, this guy wants more taxes, this guy wants less. This guy wants to fix the schools, this guy wants to tear down the schools and rebuild the schools. Right? That's the local level, but they're all fucking scum. They're all fucking liars. They're all thieves, frauds, and cheats. Very few of them are worth a shit. They sound magnanimous. They talk a good game, but are they really good? Well, until you elect them, you won't know. If we get rid of the local scumbags, if we get rid of the state ones, If we get rid of the federal ones, yeah, we could end up, folks, with a completely different system of government. And I tell you what, Hoosier, I mean, it's a great point you bring up. We could kill all the people that we want killed, but who's still in charge? Could they come in and say, hey, we just had a national crisis. Half the country has been killed in a bloody partisan conflict that they created. And we say, hey, look, Constitution right here, simple, thin, easy to read, easy to comprehend, easy to hold them accountable. But they're not going to want that. They're going to say, gee whiz, we tried the Constitution, and after 250 years, it failed. I guess we need to throw it away and try communism or fascism. Just right in our face, blatant fascism. You know, there was so much consternation after the American Revolution. They created the first government was not the Constitution. The first government was founded under the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation. But the government, the people felt it wasn't strong enough to do the job. I call bullshit on that. I've read the articles. They seem fine to me because this isn't all the rule books that they have. They've got volumes of books that would fill this room from wall to wall, floor to ceiling 10 times over with all of their fucking code of federal regulations and fucking red tape and bullshit and laws. The articles were fine, but they said, no, not good enough. So they created the U.S. Constitution, which created a stronger national government. Okay, great. But the people said, we don't fucking trust you, government. We want a Bill of Rights. That's the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. A Bill of Rights that tells the government, no. Wait, let me try it again. No. It limited, it restricted, it tell the government, those aren't the rules and you get to expand them. It's you're restricted. You have to stop. You cannot do this. You're the fucking government. So, right, Hoosier, a new government could come in and go, we don't need the Bill of Rights and we don't need the Constitution. We just need some very simple rules that the government collects taxes and we build roads and we have police and parks and schools. Right, everybody? Oh, yeah, that's great. They want us to smile and go, that's really what's important. Like whenever you say, wait, I'm tired of paying these fucking taxes. And they're like, you like the roads, don't you? And having water in the pipes and things that work, huh? Well, your money pays for all of that. Well, what about the trillions of dollars that are fucking sent overseas for wars? And the hundreds of billions of dollars given away to other countries? And the billions of dollars being sent to fruitcake LGBT drag queens and queers around the world to help them have plays and diversity, right? Where'd that fucking money come from? Us, right? Yeah. So yeah, they would want to say no Bill of Rights is needed. We understand. No. Authoritarian government doesn't. We need to have a Bill of Rights that says if you don't do your fucking job, we can come and arrest you. Not the police, not the courts. A vigilante crowd can arrest you. You better do your fucking job and do it right. That would be a great law, in my opinion. Your department lost $1 million. Great. You all get to go to prison now. You want to talk about someone who can keep their fucking book straight? Straight as a fucking grizzly's dick. They would never fucking lose another dollar then, now would they? Hey, you want a government job with a middle income salary? Great. We'll give you that great job for sitting behind a fucking desk with a pencil working off of the taxpayers' fucking money. We'll give you that good job. We'll give you some benefits. But guess what, motherfucker? You lose one fucking dollar. Fraud, corruption, embezzlement. You go to prison forever. And we take your house and your car and everything you ever owned. We take your retirement, everything. You're just fucking done. Bureaucrats, judges, district attorneys, legislators. You try and legislate a law that violates the Constitution because you said, well, we don't need a Bill of Rights. You do anything, right? You go to jail forever. I think that'd be a great way to hold these people accountable. Uman says, it's one of those be careful what you wish for, you just might get it situations. You rarely get better than what was there. Just look at Canada. Look at England. Look at Scotland. Look at Ireland. Look at Wales. Look at all of fucking Europe. They got a new system called the European Union. How'd that fucking work out for them? Oh, it's not a threat to your sovereignty. You're still an independent sovereign nation. We're just going to economically fix things with a unified currency. Now the United Nations is financially fining, billing, penalizing countries for refusing to accept their social bullshit and allowing millions of people to invade them. They tax the fuck out of them. They tell them, they regulate them. You can't have tractors, too many farms, too much emissions. You need more climate control taxes. Yeah, you are correct, Mr. Uman, but I'll say this. America had tyranny. Then we killed all of the bad guys and we kicked them out of our fucking country. And we got something a whole lot better. It's called the Constitution. It is what you and me, Uman, and all of us, it's what we're willing to accept. You see, I can't bring out a gun. I'm not allowed to bring out a gun. But as long as you, let's just say this represents armed resistance to tyranny. As long as this is in the hands of Americans, and we're like, we're tired of your shit, government. We're tired of it, motherfuckers. As long as we're saying that and holding this, guess what? They're not going to do shit to us. They're not going to promise us death and pain and humiliation. They're not going to promise us taxation and making us fucking debt slaves. As long as you're holding this in your hand. Right? As long as you got that. As long as you got that in your hand, they're not going to do shit. As soon as you put that down, you're a slave. As soon as you give up your guns, your ammunition, your ability to resist, as soon as the government passes a law that says you can't have a gun, you can't resist, you're not allowed. As soon as you put this down, they pick this up and they start writing little rules. As soon as you put that down, you are now a slave that has to ask permission from the government. Fill out a form and ask permission. Can I have a gun? No. Can I have a car? No. Can I own my house? No. You'll pay taxes. Right? And if you don't pay taxes, we'll take your car, your job, your business, your home. So I am a fucking slave right now. There's just no chains. There's no fucking chains. What's the chain? The chain is the threat. It's called terrorism. The government is a terrorist organization that uses the threat of force. What is terrorism? Terrorism is using force or the threat of force to coerce people to behave to someone else's political will. That is what terrorism is. If my life and my beliefs are based on the Constitution, freedom, and liberty, and someone says no, guess what? They use terrorism and say, no, your right to free speech doesn't exist. That's terrorism. No, your right to have a self-defense tool, sorry, you can't have that. Or we'll shoot you. That's terrorism. Anytime they use the threat of force or force itself, that's terrorism, and that's what government does. That's how they control us. Shut your mouth or we'll ruin your job, take your house, kill you, arrest you, prison. This is the game, is it not? But they tell you you are free. They tell you the government's restricted. Come on, it can't do all those bad things. Look what the government's doing. It's allowing all of Epstein's clients, billionaires, financiers, bankers, royalty, sultans, Israelis, intelligence services like CIA and MI6 and Mossad. They get away with kidnapping, That's right. I'm going to go right here again. Kidnapping, grooming, raping, killing, and cannibalism. And they've arrested fucking nobody in the United States of America. The freest, most powerful country, the most moral country in the world is allowing that. Now, who allows that? Who likes that stuff? Who likes that stuff? I wonder. Who likes transgenderism? Who likes homosexuality? Who allows rape of children? Who has in their satanic rites bloodletting and the eating of children and other bodies? Who has been kicked out of 108 countries over 1,000 times based on those types of behaviors? Yeah, I'm noticing, folks. I'm noticing an awful fucking lot. And I'm noticing that Trump put on a little hat and he worshiped at the wall. That's not Christian. That's not Christian. Christians don't worship a rock. Christians don't allow cannibalism and sacrifices of animals and sacrifices of children and humans and rape and theft and fraud and corruption and murder. That is the other religions from the Middle East, my friends. And that's why they hate you and me, because we know better. And we, as a people, a civilized people, have always stood up and said enough of that shit at one point or another. Whether it's driving back the Islamic hordes or going to the Holy Land and freeing it for Christians because of Christian prosecution. Folks, I didn't get into this in 2013 to become a proselytizer. I didn't get in this to become an evangelical. I'm not trying to convert anyone to Christianity. I'm trying to fucking defend freedom that was started. I didn't join the Marine Corps because of Christianity or anything. It was to protect America from fucking communism. Communism is a political ideology that was created under the Zionist mentality. Period. I noticed. Have you learned? Are you prepared? Are you telling people? Are you sharing the internet address? These are the things I want from you guys. Right? We're noticing. We're waking up. Right? Are you prepared? Hey, Mr. Uman, do we have something else out there that's really... There it is. There's C. Canada is offing young men just because they're depressed. Thank you, C, for bringing this one up. So, you have a country. You got a country. Here's a country. The United States of America. We have a constitution. It tells us we're free. We can talk. You can say whatever you want. You can criticize. You can worship as you please. You own property. Real property. You own personal property. Personal property. You own yourself. You can do what you want, go where you want, believe what you want, think what you want. You have a right to self-defense. The government's restricted and stopped. All of a sudden, you take that shit and you just take it away. This is what they've done in Canada. You can't say anything. You can't criticize the government. You can't criticize the other citizens. You can't criticize their religion, their sexual belief systems that are rape, and more rape. You're told that you're evil, that you as a Canadian, you as an American, you as a Christian, you are scum. You need to be replaced. We fucking hate you. Then they bring in millions of people from out of the country and they give them the good jobs because, well, they'll work cheaper. And they put foreigners in charge of corporations and in charge of government institutions. And they fire all of the white Christians and black Christians and good, decent, law-abiding, natural citizens and replace them with foreigners. So don't you think it's a little natural that the people who lived in that country, Canada, would be a little bit sad, a little bit depressed? a little bit in an existential crisis, don't you know? They're just looking, they're going, hey, I wish all these fuckers would just take off, eh? Right? Get them out of here. But they won't. Right? The youth in America are not liking Donald Trump a bit. They have, the age 40 and under have said, you know what, fuck the Trump administration and that bullshit. It's a fucking lie. They don't see a way to own a car, much less own a house, much less have a family. Why get married and bother? You can't afford any of it. There's no fucking future because the jobs are being given to foreigners, Indians, Pakistanis, Israelis, Muslims all over the place. They're blasting in New York fucking city the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day in America, waking people up out of their sleep, ruining their fucking day. These idiots are praying in the streets and the sidewalks and people's fucking yards on their property, blocking fucking traffic. Yeah, it's pretty fucking depressing. So now Canada has made it legal, and this is the upshot, or rather the downshot. Commit suicide. The government will help you. You feel lost. You feel unwanted, unloved. You feel hated. You feel like there's no future for you because we've taken your life, your job, your rules, your constitution, your feeling of independence and decency, and we just fucking pissed all over it, set it on fire, burned it down, and then crapped on the ashes. If you feel that way, we'll just fucking kill you. Literally. Mikey G says, yeah, they took all their guns, so no more suicide. Don't worry, state-assisted suicide now. Right? Stupid. Because you can't hold the government accountable. Oh, well, we can vote. We can vote. That'll fix it. Well, anyone can vote. Everyone's allowed to. Everyone vote as much as you want, right? They start fucking cheating at voting, and then they give us a choice of 2 fucking incompetent criminal candidates to choose from. Hey, do you want the red criminal or the blue criminal? And both the red and the blue criminal are controlled by the 6-pointed star criminals and the business criminals and the military industrial complex and the medical criminals. Wow. Uman says, just in time. This just in. Prince Andrew joins the UK Muslim rape gang so he can keep abusing girls. Perfect sense. He can run to a mosque and the police will protect him from the mob, from the government. Yeah. If you're part of a Muslim rape gang, and guess what? Oh, I know that this isn't a joke, though. The King of England, King Charles, apparently is converted to Islam. How fucking about that? That's right. The head of the English Anglican Christian Church is a fucking Muslim. Yes, Muslims like raping little girls too. Just like all of the Epstein guys. Folks, it is a shit show. Do you have food for 3 months, 6, 12 months? How about water? You have the ability to get water in the event the water, you turn your faucet on and it doesn't come out anymore? You have the right clothing for the area you live in to deal with an emergency situation? Includes blankets, right? Everything else, you got all that? You got medication? Do you have the means of self-defense? I recommend it because it is going to get hairy. When? I don't know. How long? I can't say. But it is getting more violent. We are getting sold down the fucking river by Trump, by the Democrats, by the Republicans. We're getting sold down the fucking river. Voting, that'll fix it. Everyone get ready to vote. That's worked my whole life. No, it hasn't, folks. The only thing that stops the government is when they see this in your hands. This in your hands tells them no more. Now, the police can say, hey, put that down. You're not allowed to hold that in your hand while I'm holding mine in my hand, right? See, this is the deal. They're holding theirs and you're holding yours. We either both put them down or we have a shootout. And someone's going to die. There's a lot more people than there are government employees that are willing to accept a paycheck to come and take your life. It won't take long to prove out that theory. Are you prepared? I don't want to see it, folks. But who is it that lives by the principle of might makes right? The government. The government of Florida, the government of New York, the government of California, the government of Canada, the government of England, the government of Israel. If they don't like what's happening, they pull a gun out and they start shooting. If that's not enough, they pull out bombs and start bombing. If that's not enough, fuck it. Let's get nukes and start nuking everybody. Speaking of that, Trump is threatening Iran. Oh, yeah, Trump is threatening Iran. If they don't make a deal, quote, you're going to be finding out in the next 10 days. Bad things will happen if it doesn't. The article I read doesn't say what Iran has to agree to. It just, mainstream media laid out Trump's threat. Does anyone know what Iran needs to do? I guess Iran has to give up its nukes and its nuclear weapons research and efforts. But the other side of that problem is Israel. Israel doesn't have to prove that they don't have or allow the inspection of their nuclear weapons to the United Nations, the IAEA, or even the United States inspectors. And we're all okay with that because God promised Israel nuclear weapons 3,000 years ago. Got it. Folks, I trust Israel less than I trust Iran. And that says a lot. Once again, I trust Israel less than I trust Iran. I don't trust Washington, D.C. either. But see, Iran is not buying American politicians. Iran is not funding American politicians. Iran is not funding terrorists like Antifa, BLM, and others. Right? Who is funding them? Chance favors the prepared mind.